Are meditation and mindfulness the same thing? It's easy to get confused and think that they're the exact same thing, but they may not be. So in this video, I'm going to dive into what is mindfulness, what is meditation, are they the same thing or not? So for me, I've been practicing meditation and mindfulness for just over 10 years, 10 years and a couple months now at this point. Been a long journey for me. If you haven't seen my last video, I'm going to link that up here. You can see that on the cards. You can see that over here or in the link in the description. And that video is on why mindfulness is important. So you can see that here in my story about how I've recovered from a concussion and helped myself with a lot of different issues over the past few years, past decade or so, I should say, using things like meditation and mindfulness. So are meditation and mindfulness the same thing? The short answer is no. So if that's all you're here for, there we go. But if we want to dive a little bit deeper, here's what it is to me. Mindfulness is basically being present in the moment. And meditation is certainly a form of mindfulness. If you're sitting still, and there's so many different forms of meditation as well, it's easy to get caught up in to think there's one type of meditation, which a lot of people visualize sitting on a mountain, like a Himalayan monk, with your, in the full lotus position, your hands in a weird posture, and that's what meditation is. That's what mindfulness is. But at the end of the day, we can make any activity into a mindful activity simply by being present to the moment and avoiding any sort of distractions. So if we're checking our phone and also trying to do something else, that's not being very mindful. It's not being very present. That's not being fully aware of what's going on around us. So for instance, a mindfulness practice, which could also be a meditation. So the two can work together quite nicely, but they're not inherently the same thing. So a form of mindfulness or a form of meditation could be a walking meditation or mindful walking. Basically not having any sort of distractions, no phone, no technology, none of that, and just walking, focusing on the steps, focusing on breathing. And for me, barefoot walking is a great way to practice mindfulness because you're very aware of everything that you step on. So another form of mindfulness could be having a conversation. If you're not checking your phone nowadays, the act of actually having a conversation, being fully present, listening to what people say, not thinking about what you're going to say next, but actually sitting there and absorbing and observing the entirety of the conversation that's being had. And I know a lot of us, myself included at times, while somebody else is talking, I'm starting to think about what what I'm going to say back in response to that person instead of actually just listening to what these people are saying. And so that is not a very mindful conversation, but if we can be mindful in the sense of sitting back and saying, hey, I'm just going to listen, I'm just going to observe, I'm just going to absorb everything this person's saying. I'm not going to think of what I'm going to say next. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to listen. And then when the time comes for me to respond with the appropriate time, not me interjecting, not me trying to push my ideas and ideologies onto this person, they finish talking. Sometimes it's nice to just take a breath and sit with that. So that in and of itself is not a meditation per se, but that is a mindful act. So you can see the two work very similarly together, but they're not inherently the same thing. So like I mentioned, if you've not seen the other video I've already done as to why mindfulness is important, check out that video. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Welcome to the YouTube channel. If you're new, if you've been here a long time, this is Health Connections, connecting the dots to wellness. I'm Rob Carney. Thanks for watching. Have the best day ever.